After 8 years of being child-free, Sawyer Castillo was diagnosed with cancer. That same day, he slept with a woman his parents had arranged for him. Every time after he was with her, he would scrub his skin raw in the shower, slap himself in the face and beg for my forgiveness. Eventually, the woman got pregnant. Sawyer hugged me and cried bitterly, "Honey, I have repaid my parents' kindness in raising me. From now on, I will only belong to you." 4 years later, at the Castillo's residence, I stumbled upon that same woman surrounded by everyone, like a star. By her side stood a little boy, her belly swollen high with another child. Sawyer shielded her, flustered as he tried to explain. "Honey, Mom and Dad just wanted a son and a daughter to make our family complete. Once Rosalie safely delivers this baby, I'll send her away immediately. You didn't want to have a child, so Rosalie carried this one for you. It'll be adopted by you later. Honey, I just love you too much. I was afraid no one would be with you after I died." I nodded and didn't cry or make a fuss. Sawyer didn't know. I came today to share the good news. Unfortunately, this child was destined not to be born. Honey, you have always been sensible and considerate. Today is Rosalie's birthday, so my parents let her come to the family residence for a meal. It will not affect your status. Rosalie hid behind him, delicately grasping his hand. The dazzling sea blue heart diamond ring flashed on the exposed slender ring finger. That was the birthday gift that Sawyer promised to give me. Noticing my gaze, Sawyer guiltily pulled her hand away. Rosalie pointed her head out and timidly said, "Christy, the necklace on your neck is so pretty." Sawyer was anxious to say something, but I smiled. I took off the necklace and handed it to her. "It is pretty. After all, it came as a free gift with that ring you're wearing. Here, take it. Now you've got the full set." Her eyes suddenly reddened and her voice choked with tears. "I'm sorry, Christy. I said the wrong thing. Please don't be angry. I'm willing to be hit or scolded, just please don't hurt my baby." Sawyer immediately frowned. "Christy, Rosalie doesn't know anything. Why are you bullying her? It's just a ring. I can buy you another one." I forced a smile and felt that my heart was suffocated by the dense pain. The mistress was standing in front of me and I didn't beat or scold her, but I became the villain. Sawyer's phone rang just then. He squeezed my hand and softly coaxed, "Don't throw a tantrum. We'll talk about everything when we get back." After that, he turned and walked towards the door. Rosalie glanced over, then approached with a hand on her belly and a sly smile. "Christy, today's my birthday and Sawyer specially ordered my favorite chestnut cake for me. Why don't you have some too?" The moment I heard the word chestnut, panic shot through me. I instinctively stepped back, but she grabbed a big chunk of the cake and shoved it toward my mouth. A car hit my mother on her way to buy chestnuts for me. Every chestnut that day was stained with blood, scattered all over the ground, piercing my eyes and becoming a lifelong nightmare. Since then, just seeing chestnuts made me tremble and break out in a cold sweat. In severe cases, I vomit violently or even lose control of my emotions. Rosalie's nails dug into my flesh fiercely, with such strength that it didn't seem like a pregnant woman. "I won't eat it." I anxiously swatted her hand away, not with much force, but she shrieked and fell backwards. "Ah!" The nanny just came out of the kitchen carrying a steaming hot bowl of soup. When she dodged, the soup in her hand splashed all over me. Sawyer rushed in when he heard the commotion, only to see Rosalie fall on the floor, weeping uncontrollably. "Christy, I just wanted to share my birthday joy with you by offering you some cake. I know it was foolish of me to overstep my bounds by staying by Sawyer's side and making you angry, but the child is innocent. How could you push me on purpose just to vent your anger?" I stared at her in disbelief. "Christy Yale." Sawyer's face darkened, his voice as cold as ice. "I told you, Rosalie is only bearing 2 children for me. She won't threaten your position as Mrs. Castillo. Can't you even tolerate that?" I didn't push her. Suppressing the burning pain coursing through my body, I pointed to the surveillance camera at the corner of the staircase. "If you don't believe me, check the footage." Seeing this, Rosalie immediately threw herself into his arms, clutching her stomach and wailing loudly. "Sawyer, my stomach hurts so much. Are we losing our baby?" Sawyer frantically scooped her up, his face filled with panic and distress. As he passed me, he spotted the chestnut cake on the table. He furrowed his brows. "Christy, you're not as understanding as you used to be. Since Rosalie kindly offered it and you won't eat it, I'll just have someone feed you." He instructed the servants, "Watch Madam eat it all. Not a single bite should be left." I struggled desperately. "Sawyer, you can't do this to me. I can't eat chestnuts." The only response I got was the sight of him hastily walking away and the smug smile curling on Rosalie's lips. My in-laws wanted nothing to do with me, quickly leading my little son away. Several servants pinned me down, ignoring my severe burns and desperate pleas, forcing the cake into my mouth with brutal force. Once outside the Castillo's residence, I could no longer hold myself together and collapsed to my knees. I clawed at my throat, retching until my body convulsed. I kept vomiting until the ground was covered in streaks of blood and then I swayed and collapsed by the roadside. By the time passers-by sent me to the hospital, I was already unconscious. I heard the doctor's frantic shouts, "Quick, contact the family to sign the critical illness notice. The patient's somatization is severe. The patient can't breathe on her own." As soon as the call connected, the nurse spoke urgently, "Sir, your wife's in critical condition. Please come to the City General Hospital." A breathy moan on the other end cut her off. The few people present exchanged glances. Along with their embarrassment, their gazes towards me held a hint of sympathy. A few seconds later, a low, husky voice came through. "Rosalie already said she won't hold it against you. Why do you have to keep going on like this? Christy, I'm really disappointed in you. I already told you, there's nothing between me and Rosalie, but you insist on being suspicious. Since you're so convinced we're having an affair, then let it be as you wish." I heard a woman's coquettish giggle just before the line cut off. "Sawyer, be gentle. Don't hurt the baby." The nurse wanted to say more, but the phone had already been hung up. I forced a smile. Then, I laughed until tears streamed down my face. For 5 whole days, Sawyer never contacted me once. Still, Rosalie added me on social media. As if possessed, I clicked accept. Later, I saw her blatant flaunting on her feed. Sawyer was kneeling on one knee, devoutly and dotingly kissing her pregnant belly. The caption read, "True happiness is loving someone who loves you back." Below that was Sawyer's reply. Running toward each other, heart to heart. I stared at that photo for a long time until my eyes burned. While I was distracted, a familiar doctor passed by. It was Sawyer's attending physician. He was also the one who diagnosed my husband's cancer. When he recognized me, a guilty conscience flashed across his eyes. I realized something was wrong and was about to ask. He couldn't stand the condemnation of his conscience, so he took out a bank card and stuffed it into my hand. "Mrs. Castillo, I was blinded by greed and listened to Mr. Castillo's lies. These past few years, I haven't been able to eat or sleep peacefully. I deeply regret doing something that violated medical ethics. Mr. Castillo doesn't have cancer at all. I don't know why he insisted on deceiving only you. I'm returning the money to you. Please don't look for me again in the future." After that, he scurried off. I felt like I'd been slapped mid-air. My head was buzzing. No wonder he refused chemotherapy and opted for conservative treatment. No wonder he never let me accompany him to checkups. It turned out he never had cancer at all. To be with Rosalie openly and without shame, he deceived me for 4 whole years. My cold fingertips curled into fists. At that moment, something in my chest utterly collapsed. It seems a relationship only takes 8 years to rot completely. I called my lawyer friend and drafted a divorce agreement. When I got home and pushed open the door, Rosalie was sitting on Sawyer's lap, wearing my pajamas with her collar wide open. Sawyer didn't immediately push her away. Instead, he pecked her on the lips. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of blame. "Rosalie's had frequent fetal movements because you scared her and she hasn't been sleeping well. I had no choice but to bring her home to comfort and care for her. The doctor said the more affectionate the parents are, the more stable the baby's emotions will be. I'm doing this to make up for your mistakes." I quietly stared at the face I'd loved for so many years. Suddenly, it felt so unfamiliar that I barely recognized it. My fingertips dug deep into my palms, trembling with pain. Eventually, I gave a bitter laugh. "Got it." After saying that, I turned and walked upstairs. I froze when I opened the bedroom door and my breathing almost stopped. All my skincare products on the vanity had been replaced. The sheets and curtains were changed to the pink color I hated the most. Even the wedding photos on the wall were replaced with a family photo of their family of 4. Sawyer held his son and the woman with a bulging belly in one hand. His doting gaze wasn't on the camera but on the woman nestled against his shoulder, her face full of sweetness, as he smiled blissfully. My face was ashen. I had to take deep breaths to keep the tears from falling. A pair of huge, familiar hands embraced me from behind. Sawyer buried his face in my neck, breathing softly. "Honey, I know you're the kindest and most generous. The main bedroom has good light, which is good for Rosalie and the baby, so I'll have to trouble you to stay in the guest room for now. I swear, there's nothing going on between me and Rosalie. The only reason I'm good to her is because she's carrying our child. You're the only one I love. Don't be jealous, okay?" He had 2 kids with her and he still had the nerve to say nothing was going on? I looked down sarcastically, then heard him sigh in annoyance. If I didn't have cancer, I wouldn't have to force myself to be with other women, let alone hurt my love. There's no one else I want to touch, only you. No sooner had he finished speaking than Rosalie's startled cry came from downstairs. Sawyer immediately pulled away, rushing downstairs in a hurry. He didn't even notice that his abrupt movement had shoved me into the sharp corner of the door handle. Blood gushed out, blurring my vision. After what felt like an eternity, the bleeding from my forehead finally stopped, leaving only a searing pain behind. But when I staggered to my feet, my eyes widened violently at the sight before me. Through the gaps in the second-floor railing, Sawyer stood at the main entrance, holding a red-eyed Rosalie, ordering the servants to dig up all the red roses in the garden. He had specially planted them for me the year he successfully proposed. He said the language of roses was passionate and eternal love. Just like he loved me, he would love me forever and ever until the end of his life. My heart shattered into a million pieces. I stumbled downstairs to stop them, but was grabbed by Sawyer.